Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today we're going to be working on a couple of citrus trees, and I'm going to show you some others that I have going from seed that are just little babies. I'm going to get a head start on my pruning this year with some of my tropicals, starting with these citrus, because they don't go outdoors up here, well, anywhere, until it doesn't drop below around 50 degrees Fahrenheit at night anymore. So they won't be going outside until mid to late May here in Northwest Connecticut in the United States. So I can prune them now, and while they're indoors still, they'll kick off their initial growth as if it is spring. They'll transition out of like a semi-dormant period. They're just starting to kick off new buds now. That's why I know it's a good time to do it. And then once they go outside, probably those leaves will get a little bit of sun damaged, and we may nit the tips then, or just let it grow wildly all summer. The main tree that I'm pruning this year is older than 7 years. It is a lemon tree, and it used to be absolutely beautiful. It would have a dozen lemons on it, and it was a larger canopy. I got scale one year, and I made the mistake early on. It was like my first year in bonsai, really. This was nursery stock, and I decided to hard root prune it, change its soil, and defoliate it when I was treating it for scale. So the tree just absolutely went into complete and total shock. But luckily it survived. So 90% of the branches died back, but the trunk stayed, and I have a couple of bud backs, which I'll be showing you shortly once I stop running my mouth. So, citrus trees. That's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Alright, so here in the window of one of my hanging plants, this is a Cara Cara orange from seed, and this is a clementine or mandarin orange from seed. And that's in there with a Schefflera cutting. High hopes for this planting in the long future. But for now, I think even baby citrus look cool, and it's really cool that you could take a piece of citrus fruit that you may have once a year or the first time in your life, grab a seed, and you could plant it just as easy as sticking it into some soil. So, all right, let's not get off topic. Coming over here, you see one of Stella's playgrounds in the backdrop. All right, so this is that lemon I was talking about. We might as well start with that. So I believe this, I was messing with the landscape a little earlier. I believe either that was the front or that was the front before. And even though this has some budding back going on right here, this branch, it's thick, it comes out completely horizontal, and it's fugly. But I left it last year because it was one of the few branches that still had life on it. And so I just let it grow and gain strength. So you see it had some new growth, and it probably would grow again. But you don't build a castle on a bad foundation. And this branch will never stand a chance to be attractive because it's just thick and flat and then goes up, L-shape, no go. So I did, lucky enough, get a couple of branches to kick off here. You see I left some room for dieback with my pruning last year because it was suffering so badly. So I'll have to clean that up too, probably. I'll probably do that part in spring because I might get some buds to kick off of these. I don't know. So I'm thinking more along the lines of this is a front. Got some attractive root flare. Yeah, this way, this one's coming towards you, but I believe it has potential to lead off into a lower canopy, and this one could be upper and maybe branch off here. Maybe have two main branches. So we're gonna get to pruning that bad boy today, and then I want to show off this orange. I believe it's a navel orange from my broski Matt Brennan. Spends half his year in sunny Florida. And he was cool enough to send me a bunch of cuttings and seedlings, and this was one of them. So when it came, it kind of went through some shock. So it died back to there, but luckily, like the other one, it grew out. So citrus is one of those trees you don't want to jump the gun and immediately toss if it loses all of its leaves and stuff. It might be in shock, but even as, what's the word I'm looking for? As finicky as they can be, where I have killed a bunch, they have surprised me and been resilient through other times. So you just never know. So this one has a nice little start. Once again, base that trunk. I left a little room for dieback, so I'll clean that up in spring. But this one for now, I'm just going to let grow because it's so young. It's a little baby. And I will probably take one of those 3 out. Oh, maybe I should do that today. All right, we'll probably do that today. All right, stand by. So, I don't get to break these bad boys out often because just hit 5 years and grew the majority of mine from seed. So usually I'm using more snip-like, durable snips, but snip-like things here. So if you're just building your collection by seed, you don't have to spend a bunch of money on one of these bad boys yet. You can start with this. All right, so I'm gonna make the big chop. There is growth there. All these little micro branches are green. This tip is dead, so I know that's dead. This tip is dead. Actually, this whole thing looks like it might be dead. But like I said, this has got to come out. The question is, do I want to take out this nub too, so that this can just be the new leader? And the answer is, I don't know, because if I leave this, I could clean it up at another time. But if I get a shoot coming out here, then we're talking. So up until this moment, I was going to take the whole thing out, but now, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Because that was the problem with this tree to begin with. It had a beautiful canopy. Here we go. Woo! Gotta remember, any hard cut to do with my left hand. Since I broke my right hand a couple years ago, it's useless. Man, I don't know if you could see, but it was alive down there. That was alive. So it's pretty knobby. Do I want to clean it up now? Of course I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just get some of the knob out. And it'll leave a little wound, but this is a Hail Mary anyways. All right, that wasn't so bad with the right hand. Just gonna whittle at it a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. So that doesn't leave too much open, and it's something that I could clean up if another shoot pops out of that area. So I'm definitely not going to touch these 2 branches. They're just leafing out. And I'm hoping that what they should do is, there's 2 more buds on the same branch. What they should do is go, woo, and get all excited. And this is usually when they push off new growth. Oh, there's a little bud down here over a branch just off to the side and below this one. So that might be one I would consider keeping. Always paranoid now, looking for scale. All right, so I don't know why this makes me so excited. I mean, I'm excited that I saved it, it came back, you know. But it takes citrus a while to thicken up, and so now I have like an extremely small citrus tree with a relatively thick trunk. It's got some nice character to it, and you know what? I'll clean up these nubs from last time. It's alive. So it's got some nice character to it. Nice taper, wide coming up. I'm one of those people that likes some knot character on a trunk. So we'll kind of see where this takes us. Clean this one up from previous. Yeah, that was all dead. So if you know what I'm talking about with dieback, essentially when you prune a tree's branch, every tree is different. Some don't need it at all. You want to leave a little bit so that if the branch dies all the way back after you prune it, it doesn't affect the trunk and kill everything above as well. So new front right there. Boom, boom. Okay, so we got this one. I was just going to clean up this area here. And I don't want to go too deep since it's a baby. I don't want to cut into any live tissue. So I was just basically taking off like the fingernail there. And we'll switch to these. What do we think, y'all? I think this, yeah, this branch is pretty much coming out of the crotch of this one, and this one would be separate. But I like, this is a strong branch, but it's already going way out. Do I like that? You know what? I gotta make a decision because it's gonna get fat right here. I want to say I'll just leave it till spring, but I can't just keep putting it off because every other tree is going to be awake in spring. So I'm taking out the crotch, even though it gives me the canopy I want now. It's just a nice healthy branch. It's about the same thickness of this one, so I want to keep that. I don't know, I've never kept citrus as cuttings. Maybe you can. I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there if you can. It was actually great therapy for the old hand. All right. Cool. So it's low in the pot. It's in some nice, very fine medium for its new baby roots. And yeah, maybe we'll get some buds coming out here and I could shorten it up going forward. Or maybe I'll put it in a big pot and just let it grow wild. That's the beauty of bonsai, y'all. You can make them tiny. You can make them as tall as you. Whatever. It's all good as long as you're having a good time. So I'm having a good time because spring is around the corner, and this was the first of many prunings that I have coming up. I have hundreds of trees of every genre: tropical, subtropical, deciduous conifers, evergreens, deciduous evergreens, flowering, fruiting. So they're not all pretty, and it's not always successful, but we have a good time here at the ranch. So for my family, yours, I hope you join us again. Hit that subscribe button for much more to come. I'm Jared Paul. Cheers, y'all.